Ooh.
I swear, like you know how to do it now. Like
I time it, man.
I
But
still haven't
Bless you.
introduced anything.
it
Oh,
always starts with a
hey y'all,
noise.
hey y'all, hey y'all. Listen, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the weird intro as always, but it's your boy Kendrick Bowser here with my brothers, Mr. Miles Malone, Mr. Tim Edwards, and today is a special one, man. What's this? Episode 10? We on 10 now?
No,
7.
it is 7, sir.
What?
That's rough.
See, I'm speaking things into existence, y'all.
Yeah, manifesting.
I'm
Yes.
manifesting that we will get to episode 10.
Oh, well, we'll get to
I mean,
10.
we're damn
You're
close. We're
manifesting
damn
that in
close,
the next
dude.
3 weeks, none of us will perish. Thank you. Like,
Well, hey, that's
true.
I'm speaking life into the
Yeah.
world right
Hey,
now.
that's
I see.
good stuff. Good stuff.
That's what I do. But for those that have been tuning in, man, I always extend the thanks. I want to extend a thank you, man, because we have now. I know it's only 7 episodes. I understand that's it's early, but we're getting consistent viewership, consistent like response, and DMs, and I'm getting texts from people every week, like every week. So we've got some regular listeners out there, man. I want to shout y'all out, man. Thank you for the support, man. For real. For real.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're almost at 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. One more week. But how y'all brothers been doing, man? How's everything been going?
School is how it's been going. School
Yeah.
recitals,
Yeah.
Mm.
The performing stuff has been great, but
music history.
so much work. Yeah. Also, for anyone who hasn't taken the vaccine yet, that second shot will kick your ass. Or at least it might.
Hmm.
Kicked mine like crazy yesterday, man. Oh, I was feeling terrible. Miles knows because we had the rehearsal yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I looked like death warmed over.
Shit.
But hey,
Yeah, everybody's
all
saying
for,
that.
you know,
Yeah,
so
I'll be fully vaccinated by the 23rd.
so we can go outside for once.
Exactly. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
yourselves vaccinated.
No, seriously. Everybody try to, but also don't shame others that don't want to get vaccinated just yet. Let's not do the shame. That's what I'm not a fan of. I understand people being uneducated about the vaccine, but we got scientists out there that are still uneducated about it. I'm personally gonna get mine. Amanda got hers. Tim got his. Miles is probably gonna get his. But I can 100% understand people like, you know what? I kind of want to wait on it just because I need to know more about it. Now, those that say we should never take a vaccine.
Yeah. Well, I also
Come on
understand it
now.
from allergy standpoints. There are people who are allergic to
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and vaccines are, especially this one.
Yeah. It's like a big ass stew. It's like a stew of shit. Anyway.
All right, and the vaccine's not made of shit.
Oh yeah, no, what I'm saying. I don't want
Anyway,
to get us sued. I don't want to get another lawsuit because this lawsuit we won't be able to beat. We can beat
No,
Sprouts.
can
We
we beat
can't. We
Sprouts?
can't beat. I think we can. I think we can. I mean, think about it. This is the only location they have on the eastern shoreline. Like Sprouts is not an eastern.
They
based,
definitely have more than one because they have one in Ellicott City.
They have a Sprouts in Ellicott City.
Yes, they do.
Damn, we ain't beating them, man. I thought they only had one.
Now that there's 2,
Damn,
There's 2 of them.
what kind of
I thought
ninjutsu
there was
is
only
this?
one, right?
I've been watching so much Naruto, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm about to start watching it.
What has happened? What kind of lawsuit is this?
I'm about to. They have morphed into 2 locations,
It's Shadow Clone
which
Jutsu.
equals. Anyway, today's episode is gonna be one that I think I'm very excited for. I think this is something that have we touched on this in any of our podcasts before? I don't know if we
if we've
have.
done it in extensively,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like little spurts.
if at all.
Yeah. No, but today we're gonna be talking about, the good old relationships. To those that follow on Instagram, the subtitle is the good, the bad, the ugly. Which I think there's a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a crap ton of ugly, which
Yeah.
we will be covering. But we're gonna start off with a nice little a story that Miles,
Anecdote that
an anecdote
we left
that
over from
Miles
last week.
has.
It kind of fits into the theme. So this is the story, the tale of Yogurt Girl. So it had to be, it was the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college, because it was my last summer working at Music and Arts. Shout out to Music and Arts. Shout out Rob.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah, Mr. Rifkin.
Arundel Mills. If you guys need to buy instruments for your kids, I would say. If you're like college age, maybe not. But anyways,
Hey,
if you need to buy instruments for your kids or rent stuff for your kids, head on to
go to
Arundel
go to
Mills
Roman
Music and
Mills.
Arts. Tell them Miles and Kendrick sent you.
Oh yeah,
Rob would love to
next
hear
to the
that.
green turtle. Next to the green
Yes.
turtle, y'all.
But so I was working there. I worked there for maybe a little bit over a year. Well, I worked there twice, but in total, like a year and some change. Um, so it was summer. I remember one night it was me and Rob. We were closing. It had to be like a Friday night or something. And to preface this, for some reason, like the lights were like dim. I don't know why. This
Oh
comes into
no.
play. Comes into play a little later.
Setting the mood.
The lights were a little dim, and
There
we're
was
doing like,
a little bit of red in them. It's all good.
and we were having some sort of clearance sale because we had a big clearance bucket. And this girl comes in, and she's like looking at stuff for a while and clearing stuff. And I don't, I'm doing my job, whatever, cool. I think Rob tells me, "Hey, go sell stuff," and I was like, "Okay." So I went up to her and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she looked all right, whatever. That was just a side thing, but I'm at work, so like, what am I gonna do, you know? So we're sitting there and we're talking a little bit, and she needs to get like oboe reads, and I'm like, "Okay, oboe, yeah, cool, cool." I'm like, "Yeah, here are these reads. Here's fine." She's like, "Also, like I'm auditioning for my school's orchestra." I'm like, "Okay, what school do you go to?" Um, she goes to a college not far from UMBC. We'll say that.
We're not
Um,
gonna say the college
we're
because
not gonna
this
say
is
the
gonna
college.
get
Come
too
on.
Yeah,
specific.
we're not gonna get too specific where it's like, oh yeah. Um,
We're
and she goes to this college and it's near UMBC, and I'm like, oh cool, cool, cool. I go to UMBC, like like, oh we're like right, you're right there. That's cool, cool, cool. And we're talking and everything. She's like, yeah, I need to get this book, and I'm on the soccer team there, and I'm like, oh cool. If anybody doesn't know me, I played soccer for like 13 years, and then I tore my hamstring, so I've been playing in the past few years, but
Then the blue
He
jersey
suffered
was
a
retired.
career-ending injury.
yeah,
It was
career-ending injury.
career-ending.
That's why I decided to
Yeah.
do music. That's why I
That's
decided.
why.
Um, we'll say that, and but I still follow the sport. I still love the sport. More than any sport that I would follow. So, we're talking about like, oh, cool, cool. Like what position you play, or how long you've been playing, all that stuff and everything. And we're talking and whatever. And then she's like, okay, well, I need to repair my oboe because it's obviously broken. But then I need to rent one. So we're sitting there. The rental process it's pretty long. Um, so like sitting there and doing the repair and a rental and everything, it's a pretty like tedious process of doing. So I'm sitting there and we're
Trust
talking.
me, I've been there a lot of
Yeah.
times. It's terrible.
So I'm talking her up, like, hey, like that's cool, like sitting there typing, getting the information in as I do. Um, and I'm like, yeah, what, I'm I can be a pretty funny individual. So I'm cracking my jokes,
Oh yeah, he's got jokes.
cracking my jokes, getting a little, tee hee, I know
Ladies,
what's up.
$20 so he can tell you jokes.
Trust me, please. Um, I'm once again asking for your emotional support.
What's it?
Donations, gifts.
Anywho,
All right, continue, please. Sorry.
before this episode gets sad,
Oh, dude,
we'll go.
please.
The conversations will come up later. We're gonna finish the story first.
Okay.
Um, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, like cracking my jokes, like, oh, cool, cool, whatever. And eventually she's like, hey, give me your number. And I was like, now in retrospect, the way that she said it, give me your number. Not, hey, can I have your number? Not, oh, like here's my number. Like nothing like that.
Yeah.
Give me your number.
Yeah.
Give me your number,
Now,
bitch. You're like, Uh,
So at the
Whoa.
time, I was like, oh, she's just really forward and like cool. Like I was like, for me in my situation at that time, I was just like, all right, like, hey,
I'll take
I'm
it.
I
hey,
must
yeah.
I really got it. Like I got it like that. Um, and I
I
mean,
got it made. Damn it. Damn it.
and in some ways, in that situation, I suppose yes, I did in fact have it like that. And we're talking, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And I finished the repair and everything, and she goes about her way. I'm like, "Hey, hopefully I'll see you again, whatever." Like, he's like, "Okay, I'm at work." Now the next day, that was a Friday because the next day I worked and it was a Saturday. So I'm sitting there and just doing my job, whatever. And she texts me in the middle of the day, like, "Hey, like, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" It's a Saturday morning, so they can be a little slow in the morning,
Mm.
especially if there's not like a recital or something going on. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, okay, well, I have nothing else to do. No one's really in the store. I think at that point I was by myself in the store. So I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I'll just text whatever. I have nothing else to do except take lesson students and do all that stuff. So I'm like sitting there, and we're like, oh hey, like, oh that's cool. Yeah, we're just chatting it up. Just like, hey, getting to know each other. She's like, oh, I'm like, hey, I'm at work, so I might not be able to respond all the time. Just so you know, like, cool. She's like, oh yeah, cool, cool. When do you get off? And so that's the
Alert, alert,
that's the
alert,
second moment where I
Yeah,
should have
alert.
where I
it's
should have
only
been
the
like,
second time.
it's the second conversation I've had
Big
with this
alert.
person. I met her the night before.
Big
So
alert.
Yeah, if it was
Big
like a
something
alert.
week
What
later,
time do you
maybe.
get off?
yeah. But
I don't know.
me
Forwardness is fine, but it's like, wait,
in
hold
in
on.
my 19-year-old head, I was just like, huh, you know, she's forward. Like,
Sick.
oh, like sick. Because I think at that point I was like, well, fuck who I like. Who the fuck likes me? And
Oh,
so for her to be like, when do you get off? It was kind of like, all right, word. Like, like we'll have a conversation. She's I in my mind, I also was just thinking like, okay, like she just wants to talk to me at a time when I can give her more attention. Okay,
right.
that makes sense, right? Right. Now, 21-year-old Miles looks at that and says, well, that was the second shot across the bow. That
Mm,
something was a little off.
right.
Um, especially considering like, oh, I just met you the night before. This is the second time we're speaking, right? But I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, cool. I'm just thinking I'm gonna go home. We're gonna text. It'll be cool. Be chill, whatever. Get to know her. Sick. So I end my shift. I get home. I dress. I get all my clothes off. I'm sitting in a t-shirt and like I'm like about to take a nap. Like I have like like do rag on. Like I am like I'm thinking I'm just gonna text. It's gonna be fun little time. It's gonna be nice. We're just gonna text and be
Mhm.
like, whatever. And I text her and I'm like, hey, just got off of work. I'm home now, so like, it's cool. And not almost instantly, she FaceTimes me.
Hell
Oh
no.
yeah, that's right.
Hell no.
So
Not a
Hard
call,
no.
not a
No.
text.
now, while I should have seen Warning Shot 1 and 2, this one
But
I
nothing
registered.
could set you up for this. Nothing could set you up for this. Nothing. There was no red flag that would set you up for an instant FaceTime. That's another level of like,
Yeah. So now I'm sitting there
mm,
and I'm like, whoa, I just met you the night before. I don't like Kendrick. How many times have I just FaceTime you out of the blue?
we don't FaceTime.
Exactly.
We don't FaceTime. Like we FaceTime once in the
Yeah.
years that we've talked, and we FaceTime once, and that was like 2 minutes. It was like, yo, what's this? All right.
Of all my closest friends, I don't think there's any of them that I will just randomly FaceTime. Like it's definitely something that's like, hey, are you good right now to do this? Or like
Yeah,
I'll even text you right beforehand. I'm like, hey, I need to talk. Like, let's FaceTime.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's even just with my closest of closest friends.
Just right out the gate.
Right out the gate,
Right.
this is the second day I've probably not even exchanged like 1,000 words with this person at this point. Like, what's happened? I met you yesterday, and I'm
Right.
ragged up. Now, this is
Right.
where I make a mistake, and I answer it. Mind you, I'm sitting here, do rag on. You know, I'm in a t-shirt. Like I'm not. I was finna take a nap. Like
Wow.
so,
It's
but
not time, girl. What you doing FaceTime?
It's the wrong time right now.
I'm 19,
You're
so
like
I'm like,
doing this to hide the ring. I just need to go to sleep.
but I'm sitting there. But of course, I think at that point, I was just like, you know what? What can go wrong?
Nah, Miles was thinking what could go right.
Go right.
Miles was thinking what could go right, not what could go wrong. He was like, this could be a really good night or a really bad one.
Well, nothing went right. So,
Take
so,
a trip to Club Shay Shay.
so I answer, and when I'm not sure if it's the angle that she's holding her phone, but lights are all on, and she looks a little different. Not gonna lie. It could have been the angle she's holding her phone at,
It wasn't the angle.
but
It
I
was the
was
lighting.
I was sitting there like, you know, look a little different than you did in the dim music and arts
Hmm.
the other night. And that happens. Whatever. But
To that degree, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about all this stuff after the story because this is
it was like I was like, okay, but you know what I was like, you know what? Still didn't look terrible. I was just like,
Mm.
okay, not as good as I thought you looked, honestly. And that's fair. That can happen. Whatever. Sometimes personality makes up for that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me keep talking.
Mm.
And there's another fatal mistake. So I'm sitting there and we're talking, and she's like, "Hey, I need you to judge my audition piece that I'm doing
Oh
for
yeah.
the orchestra." And well, now I'm sitting there like, "Whoa, I'm a bassist. What do I know about oboe? Like, I'm a musician, sure, but like, there's only so much that I can tell you. Like,
Woodwind specialist.
yeah,
Miles
woodwind
Moore.
specialist Miles. I did used to play the flute.
Mm.
So, ladies, I don't know.
La- Ladies.
Ladies.
Well, you actually should have said you used to play the saxophone
Well, I didn't. So
because that's really the one that the saxophone and clarinet are the reed instruments. Those are the ones where you get
Clarinet.
yeah,
they have the
Clarinet.
tongue on clarinet. Yeah, they have the tongue on clarinet.
well, I play bass now, so
Not as much as saxophone, of course.
I'm not
You know what I'm
saying this
saying?
from
But
like a
like,
personal standpoint because I play saxophone, but it's like, do people really go crazy for clarinet?
that's not
no,
what he's
but
talking
it's the skills that you can acquire.
Uh okay, but flute is the same.
Flute doesn't have the skills because there's no reed,
We're
there's no
talking
tongue.
okay.
Doesn't matter. I play bass, so
He plays
honest,
bass.
and we'll leave
That's
it
a
at that.
different it's a different type of skill.
So please hit my DMs, please, please.
We are hurting over here.
Anywho, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, now wait a minute. I don't know anything about oboe. I'm a jazz bassist, so if she's joining her school symphony orchestra, like I don't know that much about that music, but okay, whatever. And
Yeah,
she
You don't
girl, I
even know
heard a
much
two
about her.
I
That's the
heard a
thing.
two
You don't
pint
even know
one.
much about
I
her.
don't know about her. This is she's requesting me to like critique her music, like her, and well, we get to that, and she proceeds to play Prince Ali from
Oh
Disney's
yeah.
Aladdin.
He
So
always
first of all, I'm not too keen on the audition music choice.
Oh,
That's the first part. Second, two, two, she proceeds to play it badly. And this is not me being like, oh, like, oh, I'm gonna lead this. I'm a musician. Like she played it like it was objectively like
If
bad.
something's bad, you can say it's bad.
Yeah,
It's bad. It's just
objectively
it
like
was not good.
Oboe's hard, man. Oboe's
and
hard.
oboe's
Yeah, it's
hard,
a hard instrument. It's a hard instrument.
but
It's really
like
hard.
also I know Prince Ali because I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
So what I was like, so she's like, okay, well, how was that? And I was like, well, you know, that felt kind of like it needed a bit more practice. I was honest. You
Yeah,
know,
subtle, subtle criticism.
you know, as any upstanding partner would be, honesty is the best policy. I believe that, and yeah, so please beat me. Um,
Oh my gosh.
and so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, like that seemed a little rushed. Like, this part didn't sound quite like I think it's supposed to.
Not so fabulous he, Prince
Yeah,
Ali.
yeah.
Mm.
Nice. Um, and I'm like, well, like she's like, well, I've only had it for a little bit. I'm like, well, okay, well, how are you practicing it? And she was like, well, I just kind of run it down, just like full speed, just run it down. And I was like, so now I was stuck in a place where I was like, well, wait a minute,
Now I'm just doing a lesson.
Yeah,
that's
for free, mind you.
well, at that point I'm just like, well, that's just I mean, I'm trying also at the same time trying not to be like condescending, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, so trying to make suggestions that aren't like, that don't, because of respect and everything. That's just a really important part of just any interaction with other human beings. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, like, have you tried like breaking it down into like smaller pieces and like just kind of running it over, practicing? Have you tried practicing? Is essentially what I was saying. I didn't say it like that,
Oh my
but I was
god.
just like, have you tried like practicing? Because my assumption at this point, she was talking about like, oh yeah, I've been playing for a while. So my assumption is that you know how to practice.
Not everybody does.
I
Yeah.
assumed
Not everybody does.
incorrectly.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
Incorrect.
god.
Discorrect.
it's correct. Actually, that is incorrect. Um,
Wrong.
so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, like try breaking it up into little pieces, and practicing it slowly. I was like, not right now though, because it's something you should come back to later so you have it. Make sure that you take the time with it. Because I was
Mind you,
not.
he's trying to go to Club Shay Shay. He's not focused on no oboe
It's
or
like,
no music.
but I
He's
like how it's like,
not.
I like how it's like, all right, well, what you should do is you should like take it slow and do it in pieces. She's like slowly putting the oboe towards her mouth, and you're like, not right now, not right now.
It's
No,
pretty,
not
it's pretty much what
today.
happened. I was like,
Yeah.
no, because we're gonna be here all day. Like, let's just talk. Let's get to know each other. I met you yesterday and we're FaceTiming. I'm in my do-rag, so you already know a little bit about me.
It's too
Um,
late.
like, we might as well keep this conversation going, right? As soon as the oboe came out, I should have dipped, but then I wouldn't have this funny story.
No,
So,
you should have dipped a while ago, bro. But we gonna talk about that, man. We gonna talk about that.
and as I'm sitting there, I'm like, we're talking, and she's like, yeah, like I worked. She was like, worked 3 jobs. I'm like, damn, girl, you work hard. Like that's crazy. Like you were 3 jobs. Like you my age. Like calm down. But okay, cool. That's cool.
Go
We're
off,
talking.
go off,
Yeah,
sis.
like yeah. He's like, oh yeah, like do you work any other jobs? Like nope, just music and arts because I have stuff to do. That's not work. But I can understand being in a position where you need to work like 3 jobs. I'm like, cool,
Oh
cool,
yeah,
cool.
of
There's no.
course.
I
Yeah, I
understand.
worked 3 jobs before.
I respect that. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. Like we're starting to get to know each other. And then she asks, so no, first she's like, oh yeah, like so I was like, oh yeah, I live by here, and she proceeds to tell me pretty much exactly where she lives. She gives
Oh
landmarks
no,
and everything.
no,
And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
no.
you got too much dip on your chip. Like this is we just you don't need to. I didn't ask for that.
That's just creepy.
And I'm like, so I'm sitting there like, okay, why'd she tell me that? Then she proceeds to ask, oh, well, where do you live? And I said, I live around, like, yeah, like, oh yeah, near the McDonald's.
I
There
swear, I
are.
hope she does not find this podcast, bro. I swear to
I hope she
God.
does. I hope she does. So
Why do
she
you
knows.
hope she
She knows
does?
how uncomfortable that situation was for me.
All right, when you get a knock at your window or a knock at your door,
That's not how I live.
So
mm,
wait, you just said the McDonald's?
Just yeah, exactly. I just said,
I
oh,
live by the McDonald's. You know,
McDonald's.
there's like 6 of them within 15-minute radius.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to be specific. You know,
That's the way to
I
do
live
it.
around. Yeah. And she's like, oh, like which one? I was like, yo, that that one. Like I'm really not trying to give her my location. And she's like, okay, cool. I think at that point she starts to catch on that I'm like, whoa, like this is too much. What's going on?
mhm.
And she's talking more, and she's just like, like, oh, she's just at that point I'm starting to check out because I'm like, damn, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. And she's like walking, and she's like just taking me through her house again, unflattering
This is
phone
weird.
angle.
This is weird.
And
Oh my God.
she's like talking. She like I guess she goes into her kitchen, she like opens her fridge and everything, and she's like, yeah, she's like doing stuff. And she's like, man, I got so much yogurt in my fridge. I'm just assuming that she just has a lot of Yoplait. Like they just went to Costco or something, got the big box. She turns the camera around, and it's a full-size refrigerator filled with yogurt. Different brands. The branding's not consistent. They're just
Ew.
they're not sectioned off by brand. You got Yoplait, you got your Danimals, you got Activia. Like,
Wait, so it wasn't organized at all?
no, it was
That's
disorganized
even
Ew.
yogurt. Just
that's even worse. I think.
just haphazard yogurt.
Oh my God.
Ew.
So I'm sitting there, and she's like, "Yeah, that's so crazy how much yogurt I got in my fridge." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is crazy. That's all yogurt. Like, there's nothing I'm not even exaggerating on that. Like, it's legitimately just yogurt. Like,
Where's your protein?
no milk, like no vegetable, like
No
yogurt.
salad.
All we got is yogurt. So I'm like, huh.
Oh, I guess there's plenty of milk in yogurt.
Oh,
It's all dairy and fruit.
So I'm sitting
ew.
there and I'm thinking
That's
like,
too much fiber, man.
all right,
Way too much.
it's time to go. Like it's time to dip. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I forgot I got this thing 20 minutes ago. I got to dip. Like completely
nap.
forgot. Oh man, I got Thursday tomorrow. Like that's crazy. And
I forgot. I have the flu. I gotta go.
man, my car's in my garage. I gotta deal with that.
Yo,
Sorry.
yo. Yo, I got 10
Because of
T
the-
cells, man.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I
gotta
got
go
10 T cells. What am I doing here?
I gotta go. And she's like, oh, like, okay, cool. Like, when can we talk? I'm like, I'll let you know. But I gotta go. And the type of person I am, I wasn't trying to be mean about it. So I'm like, still like, oh man, I should have just been like, no.
Straight
Like,
up. You should have been straight to the point. That was
Yeah.
just weird. That was just weird.
so I get off of that and in work the next few weeks while her repair, because I forgot initially that she had a repair that still needs to come back into the shop that she needs to still
Yep.
come pick up.
Yep.
And like she calls a few times. She's like, hey, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it should be coming in on these days. Making sure I'm like, oh yeah, just come in on these day, this day, this day, and this day. Making sure that I'm saying days that I'm
You're
You're
not
not
working.
there.
Oh man.
And so I think I've got off with it scot free. And then one Saturday, she turns up, and I think it was me, Corey, and Zoe was working that day.
Mm.
And she comes in, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, like, how did my foolproof plan get ruined like this? I told her every other day except the days I was gonna be here, and she she's like, "Oh my god, hey, like, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I am so fantastic. How are you doing? Like it's so like everything's great over here." And sitting there, I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me get your repair for you and everything." I'm doing everything. She's like trying to talk, make small talk, and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy, but I gotta really focus on this right now so I can make sure I don't mess up anything." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll see you around." And I was like, "Sure." And that
Oh.
was the last I heard or seen of Yogurt Girl.
This is where Miles went wrong. This is where Miles went wrong. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. One, don't give your number out to people at your job. First off, I don't care what type of drought you was in, bruh. You gave your number to a random girl at your job. So now she knows you work there,
The vibes were
right?
cool at the
It
time.
don't even matter.
Were
It don't
nice.
even matter. The vibes could be immaculate. Guess what you say? You know what? Come back in a couple of times, right? Continue to feel those vibes out. Hey, maybe when you come get another oboe or check out oboe reads, we can talk. Come back and then. But when you gave her the number, you opened up a book. You
I
opened up
didn't
a
learn either, but
door.
that wasn't the only time something like that happened to me that summer either.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
And
another
now you're
story.
seeing yogurt fridges.
Yeah,
Now you're seeing yogurt fridges, and you seeing all types of stuff. And then she comes back into your job, and you got to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll see you whenever.
Look, I got
I'm
a
telling you,
customer
bro.
service.
She probably got some type of reverse find my iPhone stuff on, bro. I'm telling you. She knows where you at.
It's been like
She
2
knows
years,
where you at, bro.
so I hope not.
It's a waiting game.
Oh my goodness.
It's a waiting game, bro.
You know what? At this point,
Nah, bro. Don't.
I'm playing.
So he just basically talked about the ugly. He basically talked about the ugly. So I want to know, that was the ugly. And that's not even of a relationship. That's just of a run-in. That's just of a
Yeah.
run-in. So I think we should start with the ugly. We should start small and we can build up, right? Because
Mhm.
we don't want to jump straight into like long-term relationship ugly or like what we think is ugly about like relationships. Let's talk about the ugly of what we call the talking stages.
Mhm.
Now,
Mm.
personally, there are a couple of red flags for me about anyone I'm talking to within the first couple of stages, right? I think the first big red flag, oh my God. And we can talk about like physical red flags, like emotional red flags, like stuff that I'm kind of like,
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm really feeling this right. One, yellow teeth. For me, it's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. I can't be thinking about Cheetos when we having a
So
conversation.
you're talking like yellow.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
talking yellow. I'm
like you
not even
never
just
brush your teeth, never floss, that kind of
no,
thing.
no. That I'm not even speaking. We're not even speaking unless we have to,
Because you're talking
right?
about
Like
slightly.
unless
'Cause there's
I'm
one thing.
talking about yellowing, like yellowing. Like if your teeth are like I'm saying like shade of day. Like if I'm thinking sunset when I'm looking at your teeth,
So that's still pretty yellow. Because I think
that's yellow.
what we're
'Cause
thinking is like because there's like a
there's
healthy
natural.
range where
Yeah.
it's like
What's healthy yellow?
there's
Hold
like
up, brother.
like a healthy range where your teeth are supposed to be like they're where it's not perfectly white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, unless you go out and get your teeth white. I'm not expecting that. When
Yeah.
I say yellow, I mean your tooth is actually
Talking
somewhat
about
yellow.
yellow,
Like
yellow.
it's yellowing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, your tooth is yellowing because I'm not expecting your teeth to be white, but there should be like a nice faint, a faint yellow. That's nice. It's a faint yellow. I could take that. But if it's a yellow that if you smile and let's say you hold up like a yellow sticky note, a yellow something, and it's not far off, nah, bro.
Okay, that's
Nah, bro.
And I
That's
think
just dental hygiene. That's
hygiene.
dental
Yeah.
hygiene.
that's a sign of like people just taking care of yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
and that can also that's one of those things talking stage. Yeah.
First
I
of all,
feel
what is the talking stage? What is the talking stage?
that's
Because
true
I feel like so many people have different thoughts of what that is.
different
Oh, man.
Like, what is
definitions
that?
of what the talking stage is.
That's
Yeah.
I guess that's anytime that's a mutual romantic feeling
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
you don't have the conversation of exclusivity yet. That's the talking stage.
That's
Mm.
fair. Where it's like there's definitely like been expressed interest on both sides, and
Yeah.
but there's never been like a thing of like, okay, we're together now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's for older generations, they would say like I actually never mind though. I mean that'd be like
Right.
dating, right? Like you're going on dates kind of like
Yeah.
that. But if you're going
Yeah.
together, that's like then you're
That's
a
an
couple.
official thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Well,
I've had
you
a
know,
talking stage. I've had a talking stage, and this is going to be a story. I'll try to make it short. My freshman year of high school, I'm not going to name names because I
no,
think that's
no.
way
I
too
think I
particular.
immediately knew who it is.
where we were talking, right? And when I say this was an amazing talking stage, this was amazing. Like, I mean, everything was great. Personally, in my head, I was even thinking about dating a girl. I was like, wow, like everything is perfect. With Lord Almighty, was I fucking wrong? I was so wrong. Okay. So what we used to do, Old Mill, anyone that went to Old Mill, you knew that there were certain locker banks where you can get jiggy, right? There were
Oh,
certain locker
goodness.
banks where things could go down, right? And no one would walk by for like an hour. Like you would have all the time in the world, and just a camera that they don't check in the office, right? So
That's
like
why they
you were
got rid of
good.
the locker banks.
Yeah. They're like
Exactly. Like
inches
all
down.
together. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. It looks terrible, but I mean they had to do it. Like it was unsanitary, it was unsafe, right? So we'd come up the stairs, right? I'd meet her outside the band hall, what's up, what's up? Come up the stairs, and I'm ninth grade, so I'm not experienced. So we do a little kissy kiss, a little something, something, a little something light, a little light work, not a, maybe a little, you know what I'm saying? So we do that. We do that, and it'd be nice and cute. I had a couple friends walk past and be like, "Oh, Kendrick, okay." It was my first because I had a relationship prior to that, but it was my first talking new
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You said what? I mean, I did not date you before that. No, I didn't. That was literally the beginning of my freshman year.
He's getting in trouble, everybody.
No, I'm not, because she dumped me that year. So I definitely had the leverage in that situation. Okay, I was dumped. Anyway, let's get back to the basics. Okay.
You can tell when
So
anything makes her feel any better. You were my favorite of her boyfriends. And you
I
still are,
still am.
to be fair.
The hell?
I
Did
mean,
that change?
Just separately, but
Miles said I'm your favorite. I'm the favorite of your boyfriends in his opinion. Her. She said I'm her favorite. She said
There
I'm
it
her
is.
favorite too. Okay, but anyway, so back to the mama. We did a little mama, a little cute, and then I really was feeling it. Like I was like, "Yo, this is great." I'm 14. I think I'm 13 or 14 at the time. This is my first talking stage. I feel like I'm getting into the groove. So I'm actually maybe a week away from asking this girl out. Like I'm really considering you know what, let's make it official. She's great, black sister, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Shout out to the people, you know what I'm saying?
round and down.
So round and down, all right, around the town. That's what she was, So here's where it went left. I walk into Mr. DeTomo's class. Shout out Mr. DeTomo, man. Shout out
Yeah,
that
Tony.
ninth grade
Love
US history class, right? I walk into class, I sit down, you know what I'm saying? And I think I can say the name, Julia. I don't think she listens to this podcast, but Julia Francis. Julia Francis.
Shout out.
We were really close. Shout out Julia Francis. Shout out to her. We were sitting, and I think she turned to me and she was like, "Oh, hey, congrats on your relationship. Like, when did this become official?" Mind you, in my head, I'm like, I'm a week away from asking somebody out. You know what I'm saying? It's a little cute. You know what I'm saying? A little nice, little. So she said, "Congrats on your relationship." I said, "What relationship? What are you talking about? Like a friendship?" She was like, "No. You and so and so, like, you guys are official. When did this happen?" I said, "What?" And mind you, I had a palette. I had a couple other honeys that I was thinking about trying to get at, right? Like this was not a single thing, because we were talking. It was a talking stage. And this is where I kind of break down what I thought about it. It was a talking stage. So I had some other honeys. So when you have the little black book, you don't want one of the girls to be told, or you don't want people to be told that you're official with somebody in the black book.
That's true. Yeah.
Because everyone in the black book now is going to be like, "Oh, what? Like y'all are dating? Oh, okay. Go ahead with your little cute, cute. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to be like off. They're done. You can't call them, you can't text them." That's how it happened to me. And it was very quick because I was ugly. So I didn't have a big black book. It was maybe five. It was five girls. It was five girls. 3 of them didn't pick up the phone, and then 2 of them were actually willing to text me back. So it was 2 girls that were really good prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So when you it's like when you got to start in 5 and 3 of your players get injured. It's like, yo, LeBron's out, Anthony Davis is out, and you got Rondo just tore his Achilles. Like, you're done for the season. That's how it was. So I'm looking around like, oh my God, no, I'm flipping through. I'm looking through my contact. I'm looking through my Kick. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, Kick Messenger.
I text somebody in the black book, and I see that they read it, and then I see that they basically left a chat. So they left my Kick. They left the room. I don't know how Kick used to work, but there was a room. If you had 2 people in the chat, it could be a room. She left. It was done. So I was like, yo, I'm off the grid. So the next day I approached the girl because I'm just like, you know what? You cancel my black book. This is wrong. And it's weird. Like, why are you telling people we're dating? This is weird. So I go up to her, peaceful, of course. Like, I'm not mad, because I still like her. I said, hey, she said, hey, mama, a little cute. And I kind of brought it on to her. I was like,
You put
hey,
that on a
like,
t-shirt.
yeah, man.
Mama, cute, cute.
You know what?
It's
Yo,
Kendrick's face.
It's a lips on the back of the shirt.
oh
We're
my
start making
God.
merch. Merch coming soon.
Turndown merch coming soon, y'all. But so I asked her, I said, hey, like somebody told me that we're dating. What's up with that? What's going down? And she said, I mean, yeah, aren't we?
Ooh.
What do you mean? I mean, I thought we were just having some fun. Oh, so I'm just the person you have fun with. I don't think that's how this is gonna go down, is what she said to me. This isn't how it's gonna go down. You must be crazy. You must be fucking crazy, right? She said effing.
I don't know why you censored yourself that time, but okay.
Right. I don't know why I did either. So when she said you must be fucking crazy, it takes to another level. So I say, you know what? Maybe you're just angry. We're having fun. So I say, well, how about this? How about we keep talking, we keep having fun, and then we revisit the relationship. I actually tried to approach it nicely in the beginning, right? We revisit the relationship. Oh, so you must be some type of bitch.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
She said that to you, not you. Larry.
Yes, to be clear.
I said, in my head, I'm like, was I just called a bitch? Was I just called a bitch?
There's-
I'm trying to register. It's like doing beep 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 beep. I'm
It's
like,
like being slapped.
you
It's
were
like,
just called,
what?
and it's like you hear that ringing in your ear.
Mhm.
There's that ringing in my ear. I'm like, I was just called a bitch. Beep boop beep boop. So I'm like,
Beep, boop, beep, boop. Bitch
so
alert.
then my brain's like, bitch alert, bitch alert. Literally, the Naruto music. The Naruto music. The Naruto music. The Naruto music is playing in my head. Dude. It's going in my head. So I look at her and I'm trying not to be disrespectful. I don't want to. I don't like calling girls bitches. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't deserve it, I don't like saying it. You don't deserve. Like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't. But she called me a bitch, and I'm 13 at the time. I'm a lot less mature. So I'm like, you know what? I think I said something. I was like, you know what, man? We're done. Whatever we had was, it's finished. It's whatever. All right, fuck you. But it just starts like just a barrage, right? Rasengan barrage. She just goes on a haul on me. So that was the end of that. I walked away from that. Now, fast forward 2 years, I see her in the hallway. Now, I later found out that she was suffering from, I think, from some type of mental illness. That I wasn't aware of, at the time. And she comes up and taps me. I'm just, I'm saying, like, whoa,
Whoa.
what's going down? So I'm just like, right? What's going down?
Starts doing that.
For anybody that's not watching, I got a jutsu on right now. What's going down?
I'm
Right?
not sure what kind of funky jutsu that is, but
I'm not a bitch. Jutsu.
The FU jutsu. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on some other shit that day. So she just said, you know what? I'm really sorry about what happened. And it was very nice. It was a very nice apology. You know what I'm saying? But that story was just said just to say the talking stage, I think, can be different to certain people. I think some people think talking is, kissing and, of course, for people our age, the full, shebang. You know what I'm saying? I think we can say having sex. We can say that. This is a podcast. What am I censoring myself for?
I don't know.
God damn. But, having sex. And I think some people think talking is literally talking. Like nothing more. Just like, hey, you're cute.
Yeah.
I like you.
and that comes from communication. I mean, that problem stems from communication, which communication is an issue that goes throughout any stage of any relationship. Because I mean, legitimately to her, she probably was like, okay, we're sitting here, kissing or whatever. To her, and maybe the way she was raised, that's like, okay, we're together. Like that's a thing. Like that's an actual thing. Now, see, but for
Man,
you, that's different. And I think it's
that
different
ain't
for
nowhere
everybody.
close to a relationship
Exactly.
in my head.
So in your head, that's a very different thing, and neither answer is necessarily wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just you got to talk about it.
you have to
Yeah.
talk about it. And I think that's part of the problem with the talking stage is because it's not a relationship. A lot of these things aren't often mentioned, because you're like, oh,
Mm,
I don't want to throw somebody off by being like setting like boundaries and stuff. But you have to be able to set your boundaries. Um, because for her that was a thing that was like super like, oh, that was intimate for her. That's
mm.
I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. Um,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
could be wrong, but but I mean,
yeah. We was definitely kissing. There wasn't no
yeah,
pecs.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no pecs. And I think with people that age also
yeah. Especially at
kissing.
that time, that's like okay, like
Yeah,
that's something that you reserve for
yeah,
somebody that you're in a relationship with.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, to her, that was like okay, we're in a relationship, but that was never communicated between the two of you. And of course, you were 13, 14 years old, so
Yeah.
we're all idiots at that age, some more than others, but
No, I was on some shit.
but
Same.
like
I was,
so but like to you, you were just like, this is fun, like cool, I'm having fun. And that's not
yeah,
necessarily wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. Um, it was just never there was no communication there. So
yeah,
then a problem arose. So for her, it was like, oh, this is one thing. And then for you, it was like, well, this is just another thing all completely. Um,
right.
and I think that's why I mean people are I think now that as adults, that's the thing. That's one of those things that honestly a lot of adults don't have either, especially at our
Mm.
age right now.
Yep.
I
Is
think it
that
gets worse. I think it gets worse as you get older.
I think it
Honestly,
depends
like
on the person.
I don't know. I think the quality. I feel like the quality of men and women, particularly men,
Hmm.
as you age, just gets trashy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many 50-year-olds I see out here trying to be pimping?
Yeah.
You know, like
Maybe
just
it's
50-year-olds, like just
maybe it's because we're meeting more people.
Yeah.
As you increase that range of people or people and
mm,
slash people you hear about, like that also increases the range of shitty people.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah,
how it works.
And I mean, that's just that communication is so incredibly important in any relationship.
Yeah.
yeah,
And a lot of big issues can be solved with communication.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
and not just any sort of communication, like healthy communication, because technically screaming at each other is a form of communication, but you're not getting
But
anywhere.
it's
Yeah.
no,
And being able
never.
to sit down and I think that's an important part of any relationship, really, even like friendships,
Absolutely. Yeah.
is being
Yeah,
able to come at the other party with from a place of respect, of mutual
yeah,
respect for each other, to be able to talk through things. Because a lot of issues come from miscommunications. It's like, oh, I thought you
yeah,
said this. Well, it's like, well, that's not what I meant by that. But they wouldn't know that
yeah,
because you didn't explain it because there was no prior communication.
yeah,
Um, and that's where so many issues come over. Whether it's like, oh, we were texting and my I said something over text and my partner mistook that for something else because it's over text because there's no inflection, there's no way to say, oh, that was joking, or like, that was serious or whatever.
yeah.
And people get in
Please try
trouble
not
that
to
way.
argue over text, dog.
Oh,
It
never
is, it
argue over
is.
text.
It's
I've done it
terrible.
so much. It's one of the worst things. You don't understand what the other person's saying. It leads to it makes something that shouldn't be as bigger. And
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it. Like, I'm not speaking from a place of like, oh, I don't argue over text. I've done it before. I
Yeah.
probably will do it in the future, but I try my hardest not to. It's one of the shittiest things.
I really think
It's
you
one of
shouldn't
the
have, yeah, you shouldn't have
shittiest
any
things
important conversation with anybody over text. You can have your
over
theoretical
text.
opinion,
Yeah.
but if it's
Yeah.
like something that like needs to be like articulated, um,
Yeah.
like if you're sending like
If
two
you're breaking up
pictures,
with somebody, Lord,
oh, if you're breaking up, that's
Yeah.
obviously
I don't do
Lord,
that over text.
you should definitely call
I'll
somebody then,
call at least.
at the very least. I can
call.
understand not doing it in person because you're just like, well, that's kind of awkward. Um,
I think it's still the best though.
Still do it in
I
person. That's the
mean,
best. But I can understand
yeah,
the perspective of like,
the phone call.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the very least a phone call. Like they at least deserve to hear a voice. Um, but any
Mm,
important conversation in any relationship, even if it's just like talking about important things that don't necessarily have to do with the other person,
let's get
um,
on the phone.
get on the phone. I just like talking with your friends. If you're like really like, just like, dang, I feel this way right now. Let me have a
Yeah,
talk about it.
a
Um,
conversation.
because that allows the other person to more clearly understand what you're saying, and if they don't, they
Yeah,
can ask for clarification, and
yeah,
nobody thinks, oh well, that text had an attitude, or that text came off as passive aggressive, and it's like,
right.
well,
You
Or there
seem
was
angry.
no feeling behind that
yeah,
text. They
because I
don't
mean,
love
Yeah,
me anymore.
and that's the thing. Some people text differently. Like some people are generally speaking, I'm a pretty terrible texter. Um,
yeah. I think we can say that.
It's real
yeah,
dry.
yeah,
I think we can all say that. It's not necessarily super dry.
It's professional.
I just think Miles does not text back. Maybe he texts back. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe brother don't want to talk to me sometimes. But I'll text Miles. I'll text Miles some stuff, man. I'll be like, yo, man. I'll be like, Miles, yo, I saw this crazy thing. Haha. LOL.
That's
Brother
cool.
won't ever text me back. I'll send his brother a tweet. I'll send his brother a tweet. And he'll know it's funny because I know when the brother open it, he'll laugh. I know it. He won't text me back.
I
He'll just
think
be like, you know what? Funny.
for me, I prefer at the very least verbal conversation. That's just the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
with you guys specifically, I see you guys a lot. So like
Yeah.
I have other close friends who I do text relatively regularly because I don't get
Yeah.
to see them in person
Yeah.
as much.
It's like, oh, I know I'll see them on Friday
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. We
Like
gonna talk about the tweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
like I mean, like, Tim and I see each other every other day,
Yeah.
and usually at some point during the week Kendrick calls me and we end up on the phone for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Hour and a half, 2 hours. You're shooting it light, buddy.
Yeah.
I will call
Yeah.
you at 9:30. I'll call you at 9:30. We'll look up. All right, Kendrick, it's 1:30. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, Kendrick
I
can
got work
talk.
at 6:30.
I'll tell you, Kendrick can talk. He
No,
can talk
thing
no,
is,
for a
Miles
long
can
time.
talk.
well, we
Miles
all
can talk.
can.
We're not gonna twist that. We
Yeah.
all can. When we on the phone, okay, listen, here's how it goes. When Miles and I get on the phone, yes, I will be bringing up certain things, but it'll reach a certain point and it'll be a turning point where like I stop talking more, and then Miles is like, well, you know what, man, I really fucking did this shit. And I'll be like, yeah, Miles, let's talk. So it's not just me.
Yeah.
It's me and then it's Miles. It's a
Yeah.
balance.
Well, also,
Mm.
like, I mean, you look at Miles' stories too. Miles, you got long stories, man. They're great.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh yeah,
They're
entertaining all the way
great.
my
through.
stories.
But your stories are
Oh yeah,
long,
no, I'm a thorough. Listen,
thorough.
they're thorough. I gotta make sure you guys like know what was happening.
That's the thing, man.
Of
Like
course.
so these episodes are like Kendrick is really good about keeping us on schedule, but we keep them an hour 45,
Last week was like 2 hours
2
almost.
hours.
Because
But this
Almost
one
2 hours. That
this
was
one
the
might be
longest.
2 hours too. But we could easily
Yeah.
talk for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we usually do, like
Oh
when we
yeah.
hang out. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've stayed in the car. We stayed in the car from 9 to 2:30.
Yeah.
We stayed in the pub. The pub is a performing arts building for those that don't go to
Oh my god.
UMBC.
9 to 5.
That night, yeah, 9 to 5. It was
9
literally I got
p.m. to
home.
5 a.m.
I got home at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
I took an hour and a half. I slept for like an hour and a half, basically a nap. I took a nap for about an hour and a half or 2 hours and got up and went to class at 8.
I did the same thing, yeah.
I think
It
I
was
did that
crazy,
last
but
week,
it
too.
didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it,
Talk
Now
about it.
we about to hit something. Because this is something I've been thinking about, and I want to start with Tim because I think
Communication.
Tim's perspective on this will be the funniest and it will be the
Oh,
most
no.
interesting.
Tim's like, uh-oh.
Now,
what is this?
no,
Where's
it's
this
not. It's
going?
not bad. It's not bad. Now we did mention Hot Boy Summer. We mentioned that Miles is on the way to having a Hot Boy Summer. Ladies, you understand this. Patreon is going to start up $20 dinner and maybe a foot rub, depending on who you are, with Mr. Miles Malone. And it's just
Are
going to
you
happen,
volunteering
right?
foot rubs from me? Is that what's happening right now?
Listen.
Volunteer many things.
Braid hair, air fryer, foot rubs. The brother could do a lot of things, and just let him show you what he could do, right? So we
Yeah,
talked about the
let
Hot
me
Boy
show
Summer.
them. What?
Okay. He's gonna show you. He's gonna follow through. Okay. I'm like LeVar Ball with Lonzo Ball coming out of the draft. Okay. My boy Miles is the best in the world. And there's no doubt. Okay.
Please.
But it's a Hot Boy Summer. And I think based on what Meg Thee Stallion says, if we're running off of that definition, hot girl summer, I think hot girl, right? So hot boy, same thing. I think that just means to be confident and express yourself sexually as well as, out, just be open, be out there, in the streets, having fun, being safe, but having fun, being out there. Now, involved in that, I think, is the Little Black Book. think there's got to be a little black book in being a hot boy or hot girl, right? You got to have some type. You got to have a list. You got to have a list. You have a list. I think when we were all single, right?
I'm
Because
still interested to see why I have the funniest opinion
Yeah.
on this.
no, because
All right, continue.
right, right. So when at least back when I think about when I was single, and Amanda can attest to this, because it's not like I'm gonna say something that she gonna look at me like Amanda can attest to this. We had little black books, okay? We had a list of people, about 5, maybe 6, that you could call up, you could hit up. Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Let's do something. Let's go out. You still there? You still live on that street? Okay. You know what I'm saying? That you could call up, and whatever, let's say if you wanted to take it to that sexual level, you could do it. If you want to take it to that other level, you know what I'm saying? If you just want to date, you could do it. So technically, I guess the 6 to 7, some people got 10, some people got 30. It depends on who you are.
30's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
lot.
That you could call up. So Tim, I'm asking you, how do you feel about having multiple people that you talk to at the same time, or having multiple people that you can just call up like that and just have ready to go? And we're speaking from a single perspective because Miles is single, and I think it would be really weird if we all talk about everything that's relationship based.
Yeah.
Because Miles is not currently in a relationship. So like from a single perspective, how do you feel about having the black book or the hose, quote unquote, that you could just call up?
I don't think you should say that, but
at any given okay. What should I say?
Yeah, I don't farm, Kendrick.
Yeah.
So I don't need those.
What about no? I can't say that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't
let
know
me
what
not
it
get us
was, but I
canceled.
can guess.
Let me not get us canceled. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Just
the
keep-
book. Yeah. The
Yeah.
candidates.
All right.
Having the candidates.
The contacts.
That'd have been the easiest way to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Timothy.
Uh-oh. I don't know. I mean, there's always people that, you've okay, for me, there's always been people that like I've liked, and that at some point maybe have liked me. And so like maybe at some point like I'll text them or something, we'll like talk for a while, and then maybe something gets brought up, maybe we talk about relationships or something like that. And more often than not, they're like, not looking for anything right now. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
That's all good.
But like, I don't know. Okay, so here's my thing is that like when you're single, having people is fine. I think it's really important to not take advantage of people who you've been like intimate with before. Because that's something that that I think a lot of people have learned the hard way, and something I learned the hard way. Unfortunately. And like, it's just being wary of people's feelings and their experiences and all that. But I mean, I think it's fine to have people that you like, maybe people that like you, and a lot of people talk to other people at the same time, especially when you have dating apps, things like that. But it's not really, I can't really do it, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna talk to this person and this person and this person, and none of us are exclusive, but like, we're all
just having fun.
That's not me. I can't do that. Like I like to focus on a person, and I don't know. I think it's also because like in my idea, even the talking stage, it's the intimacy, and I mean like I mean like emotionally, that is the most important part for me. So yeah, I don't know. There will always be people that you like, and like don't be afraid to reach out. I think go for yours, like that's
go for yours.
I mean, you guys know in the past like couple of years, obviously before I entered a relationship, I mean, I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna like introduce myself to this person, and I'd say, hey, I'm Tim.
Tim has had his Tim has this nice guy. Tim is the nice guy, satchel. Satchel.
Okay,
he's got the satchel over his shoulder. But this brother's had
I don't want to be
honeys.
Reddit nice guy.
No. Listen. He's a very nice guy, right? He's not like a shady nice guy. Tim is a very nice guy. But this brother has this nice way of having the honeys. This nice way, this very nice theater, you know what I'm saying, actor. He's this musician, teacher, you know what I'm saying? But he'll have the honeys and he won't even know it. This is how Tim is. He'll be like, we'll be sitting there and we'll be talking about, let's say we're all talking about our past and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be like, yeah, man, I just don't know. I remember we were all single at one point because it's very rarely where all three of us are single. It hasn't really
Yeah.
happened much. But it was one time when we all were, and we were talking. He was like, I don't really know anybody that likes me. I'm like, you got these faux honeys right here. Every time you come around, hey
Yeah.
Tim, hey Tim,
Yeah.
hey Tim, looking at you like, hey Tim,
That's
Tim.
I have
Greetings, Timothy.
greetings, Timothy.
Just all up in your face.
Yeah.
Hey, can somebody help me with this? Tim, yes, I'll help you. Hitting the Heisman. Tim, yes. Somebody come up, get off me, bitch. Tim. You know what I'm saying? Like I have seen somebody run across a football field for Tim. Sprint.
Well,
Sprint, like full force.
That's different.
And it was not because you were a drum major.
I was about to say, I was like, that's marching band. We
No.
all had to run.
Nah, bro. If Meisner called them, they sprint. If you call, you could do like a nice little jog. You could walk, all right, Tim, I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying? Like something nice. No, they sprinted. Tim, I'm on the way. You know what I'm saying?
And
like
that was
if
just
they were
the
up to
football
you.
team. We weren't even talking about the girls in the marching band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Tim has a very I love
buddies
Tim
with
because
the
he's
guys
got a oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not like that, but
Now I think with me.
Yo, what's up, Tim?
Catch. Nah, I think with me, I'm similar to Tim. I think I've talked to multiple girls at once. I can admit that. I've talked to multiple girls at once. I think my max was like 4.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, I also I can't say that I haven't done it. I don't like when I was on dating apps and things like that. Like you kind of have to.
That's a dating app.
See, I never did dating apps. Yeah, I never did dating apps at all.
But I don't know. I it just doesn't appeal to me. Like,
yeah, of course.
Of course. It
appealed to me. I think it was fun.
And I get it.
I back then, I think when you're like 15, you're in puberty. You know what I'm saying? I was already like ugly. So I'm like, at the time, I was like, man, I'm fugly. I got tits. Let me see who I can who out here. Listen, who out here is going to help with my character development? That's how I looked at it. And it was harsh. It's messed up. Who out here is going to help me develop as a person?
Character development.
Character development, right? And honestly, even though I was fugly, like I had some girls. You know what I'm saying? I was shocked. I was like, yo, I'm funny because I'm funny. So I can make people laugh. I can crack the jokes. You know what I'm saying? And I had a slick way.
You've got a pretty forward way of flirting, I think, too. And not like in a creepy way.
Oh, yeah, it's very forward. It's
Excuse
very
me,
forward.
Miss. If you remember. Excuse me, miss. All right, y'all be easy.
Oh, no. Yeah, all right. Hey, hello. All right. All right.
The hand sign.
All these hand signals, the hand signs. Hey, yo. Okay. Nah, it was, I think in high school, it was terrible. I think now, I don't have to pick nobody up. You know what I'm saying? I got my catch. I caught my fish. You know what I'm saying? And I reeled her in.
Oh, no.
No, you're not. No.
All right, there we go. I'm glad you're getting this.
No. I'm joking.
No, you deserved every bit of that.
You know what? Let's get back to the episode. Anyway. What I'm saying is, back in the day, back when I was in high school, my game was weak. I think my version of game was, and it worked with some people. I don't know. I had this thing where most of the time they were my friends first. So most of the time, any girl that I was talking to, we had a relationship as friends. Like it wasn't just random. I think it was one person I talked to that was random, and that was a very crazy situation. So, it'd be like, hey, let's go get some lunch together. Like, let's eat together, right? We eating this shitty pizza. Why not eat it together, right? That might make it less shitty, which it did. It did. You know what I'm saying? But I got caught up. The problem was I got caught up. You know, them cookies looking real good right now, girl.
No, you
That's
She's
gotta
like,
spend extra money for cookies. Ain't no way I'm
I
sharing
know,
those.
I got them once. I got
Ooh.
them once.
Well,
That was a
that's it.
special case, though. That was different. Anyway,
gotta get the
what I'm
Doritos.
saying is, my problem was I was so stupid. I got caught up. I got caught up a lot of times. I
Mhm.
mean, it was in the hallways. I had one instance where one girl I was talking to kissed me in the hallway, and the other girl I was texting was coming around the corner.
Mm.
And I didn't even want to kiss homegirl. Like, I really didn't want to kiss her. I was like, why are you kissing me? Like, I think I straight up said that after she kissed me. I was like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But she just came at me. She was like, Kendrick, I'm about to go to class. Mwah. Like, just on my, I was like, oh, no. Like, and then because I saw the girl, like, as soon as the girl locked eyes with me as she's kissing me.
Dang. Meanwhile,
And
the
then I just see
teachers are like, walk and talk, guys. Walk and talk. Walk and talk.
you know what I see the girl do? Show me
Turn
her
her-
phone as I'm walking. Show me her phone and delete my
Oh
thread.
no!
I
Dang.
literally sat there. I was. And mind you, I kept trying to text. They didn't go through. So like I got caught up. That wasn't the only time. I got caught up at a football game. I'm going there to enjoy the Old Mill Patriots. And then both of the girls are talking together.
Ooh.
I walked up the bleachers with my nachos in hand. I just spent my mama's money. She gave me $20. I spent 20. Okay. I had no money left. I got my nachos. I got my Coca-Cola. Back when I used to drink soda. I'm sipping. I'm feeling good. I'm walking up feeling bossed up because I know in kick I got two girls. And I look up and they're both sitting next to each other, laughing their asses off. I'm sitting there like, whoa. So I come up and I offer to share my nachos. I said, hey, you guys want some nachos? You guys look like you know. And they were like, yeah, we'll have some nachos. Here's the problem. I fucked myself up. They didn't even know what was going on.
Oh.
I mentioned it.
No.
Oh.
I walk up to them. I say, after I say the nachos, because I'm trying to butter them up, right? For me to talk to them about it together. So I give them the nachos and I look at both of them and I say, now listen, I know I fucked up.
Oh no.
And the looks on their face should have told me, I should have been like, oh, I'm joking. You know, made a joke. I just looked, I said, I know I fucked up.
Yeah, I should have gotten you guys Doritos.
I should have gotten you guys Doritos, dude. I know you don't like nachos. I fucked up, right? That's what I should have said. No, I said, I know I fucked up. As I'm eating the nachos, they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, my mother raised me better than that.
Oh,
I know
man.
I'm not supposed to, I shouldn't be. I said, you both are women. You both have feelings. There's no way in hell that I should have actually thought to try to pursue both of you guys at the same time.
And they're like, what?
Mm.
They said, Kendrick, what are you talking about?
Oh.
I was like, well, I'm sure you guys was just laughing, like y'all was just talking about it, right? Like,
See,
I'm
that's
sorry.
it.
I was like, I'm sorry. Like, listen, I'm really apologetic. Like, I'm sincerely sorry. We can all. No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh.
So, can you explain to me in detail what you're talking about, Kendrick?
Or like nacho girls anymore.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That was a bad time, bro.
My
That
mom
was a
raised me
bad
better than that.
time. My mom raised me better. I tried to
said that.
explain it to him. You know what, Kendrick? I had a feeling you was a slimy ass nigga.
Oh.
Ooh.
Damn.
Was I just called slimy? Am I on Nickelodeon right
First
now?
of all,
What the
obviously
fuck?
not. It's-
Right. I'm not slimy, dog. That's one thing. I might have been a fat little fuck, but I was not slimy, dude. I had low self-esteem. There's a difference.
And tits.
Okay.
I was there too, brother. It's okay.
I had low self-esteem. But come on. I'm not slimy. So when they call me slimy, I
Don't
got
call me
mad. I started
slime.
defending myself. No, dead ass. I was like,
I should have
"Don't
never
call
gave
me
you
that."
nachos.
Straight up. I worked at Quiznos for you.
I want that fucking Quiznos.
At fucking Quiznos.
Hey, wait,
You
I've
know how
never
many people
seen.
come into
I've never
Quiznos?
seen that dress before.
I've never seen that dress before.
What are you talking about? Shut up.
What are you talking about? Like,
Shut up.
like, shut up.
I worked at Quiznos for you.
I
Dead
work at
ass.
fucking Quiznos,
I paid for your college.
paying off your student loans, and
Now
this
you're
is the
going
thanks
out
I get.
with other boys in the club. I worked at Quiznos.
I worked. Oh, you guys are gonna hear that whole monologue one day. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get there.
But no,
That's
it
a
was like
dialogue, really.
Yeah.
it was crazy, man. I got caught up way too much talking to people. I definitely did. And it was just I don't know. It was just a bad time. It was a bad time. And that's what I feel like the talking stage is just so I honestly, even though it was fun, I wish it was banned. Ban the talking stage. Like fuck talking. You know what I'm saying? Because it just gets you caught up. It gets you caught up, man. It gets you caught up. People, I think it can become like a game. Motherfuckers just want to have not candidates. They want to have candidates. You know what I'm saying? They want to have candidates. So I don't know. Miles, how do you feel about the talking stage? Because I mean, I don't have you really ever been in the talking stage
Yes.
like deep? I mean deep, dog.
Yes,
Like deep.
I have. Thanks for that, Kendrick.
Have you ever been?
Thanks for that. That really was great for my self-esteem. Ladies, it's
$20.
low right now, but for $20, you can boost it.
You can boost it right back.
Trust me, I shower, smell nice, make sure my hair smells nice.
I don't even know why we're charging.
Honestly,
Free, honestly.
This is
I'll listen. Just talk to me. I'll reimburse you. Like it's cool.
Submit your applications. Submit your applications. Our DMs, Turndown DM is wide open. We're gonna
Or
screen them. Make sure you keep it
miles.l.malone
PG.
on Instagram. If you want to keep
Nah,
it less
nah,
than
nah.
PG, just
Turn down. I want to see it. Turn
no.
down pod.
Wait a minute. Hey,
We want to see it.
this is my life, Kendrick.
Sponsored by Tim and Miles. Tim and Kendrick.
Did you say
It's a
my life is sponsored by Tim and Kendrick?
No, the program, the scholarship
Kendrick,
is
now we're gonna get
sponsored
sued by
by Tim and
Miles.
Kendrick.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer, Mom.
No, dead ass. Damn.
Damn. Talking
We're losing
stage.
that case.
I think. I think for me, has always been like one. I'm not the type of person that talk to multiple people at once. I just can't. Honestly, I think part of it's is like I just don't like that feeling of like it feels like icky. Even as an adult, I'm just kind of like I've gotten rid of that mindset about it, where it's just more like I don't have the energy to be talking.
Yeah,
I don't have
honestly.
the time nor the energy to be talking to more than one person at a time. It's just not for me. That's like the same thing with like that's part of the reason why I don't like dating apps. Also because I like to get to know somebody like pretty well before I'm like, all right, I could pursue a relationship with you, because I've seen plenty of like very pretty like women that have been like, wow, like dang. Um, but much fewer people that have been like, oh wow, you're actually also a great person. So I think, and then it goes back to the communication aspect. I really do value being able to communicate with somebody. So I think that's been my main problem, is that because I have all these little check marks that I'm like, all right, cool. It takes a while for me to pull the trigger. And then you find yourself in a situation. Find yourself in a situation where you're like, huh, like, that would have been easier if I would have said something earlier.
Miles, sometimes the trigger disappears with your ass, man. The trigger will freaking
that's happened to me
disappear.
multiple times in my life. But even when it doesn't happen, sometimes it's just been like, like, oh, I'm not really feeling this person. I guess that's what the talking stage is for, so that you don't put yourself in a relationship with somebody, and then you're like, oh shit, like this is not the person that I thought I was talking to. Because I mean, so it's a balance of everything. But I think the talking stage is it's for me personally, I only like to talk to one person at a time, simply because I just don't have the energy to deal with multiple people. I don't have the time to keep up, and also I don't want to come to the point where I'm like, oh shit, like now I got to make a decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like, damn, like I have a great time with this person, but I also have a great time with this person, and now I'm stuck in a place where, oh man, I have to choose. And whichever way I choose, somebody's being cut off, and I don't want to do that, because there's the another negative of taking too long to pull the trigger, is like, damn, I've kind of like really like grown to like this person just as a person.
Yeah.
Right.
And now if I have to cut them off, like that's because of the whole, because of how we live, because we live in a society. I can't just,
Mm.
like, I can't just have a friend that's a woman while also being in a relationship without it looking sus, which I don't agree with
Mm.
personally, but like because of society and everything, it's like one of those things where it's
That
like,
also depends
Segue,
on the
segue,
that's
segue,
true. King of segues, Miles
segue.
Malone. Woo! Beep, 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 beep,
King of
that
beep.
depends.
segues,
Yep.
man. That was smooth. That was
Mhm.
smooth. That was smooth. That was smooth. But no, go ahead, Tim, because I know Tim said that depends. What were you talking about?
Yeah, it depends
That
on who.
depends on the person, man,
It depends
and
on the
that
person.
depends on the
Mm.
relationship
Yeah,
in general.
and I think like, yeah, and that's also part of what I think about is like, well, I don't think I'd want to be with somebody who was like so jealous that, or did, because I think for me, like that means you
What
don't
do you
trust
consider
me.
jealousy? What do we consider
Well,
jealousy?
okay,
Let's start with that. What do
so
we consider
if
jealousy?
for example, say I'm dating somebody and I don't have a lot of female friends, but the ones that I do have are very close to me.
Mhm.
Um, so let's say I was dating somebody and then they're like, you can't hang out with any of your female friends, like at all.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's where it's like you're crossing the line. Like,
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
one that also shows that you don't have trust for me. No matter what you say
Yeah,
about like that means you don't trust me enough to behave
right.
myself,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, well, then what's like what do you actually think about me if you think that as soon as I'm in a relationship with somebody that's like gonna go away.
Yeah,
um
that's crazy.
though I can also understand from the other perspective of, I can understand, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but I understand the perspective of well, here's this person, especially if it's a situation where your partner is not somebody that you've known for a long time. Let's
Right.
say, let's say
Yeah, that makes it
somebody,
trickier.
yeah, I'm saying from the perspective of, like, say a girl who's dating me. Like I said, I have very, very close female friends. Um, now let's say I'm Miles's girlfriend. This could be you. Um, and and I'm
Very
sitting there
slick.
and I'm like, like, hey Miles, so and so, like, how long have you known her? And I'm like, oh yeah, know her for a few years. We're pretty cool. We talk, whatever. Not like we talk, but like, we talk, pretty
Yeah,
regularly. We're,
we
we're good
talk. We're
friends. We're good
friends.
friends. And he's like, well, I don't like that because that who is this person who knows more about you than I
Yeah,
do. Who's It's one
right.
thing if it's like, oh yeah, Kendrick Tim, like, cool, that makes sense. But if it's like,
Yeah,
oh, like, oh, here's this girl who I think is attractive, and she knows more about you than I do.
right.
What I can understand being like, well, wait a minute. I can understand that throwing somebody off.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it comes down to a communication and trust thing. It'd be one thing if it
yeah,
was like, if I was like, oh yeah, hey, I'm hanging out with my friend today, and I don't say, who, whatever, and then later you find out, oh, it's so and so, and like, who is
right.
this?
Yeah.
But it's another thing if, like, from the beginning, like, even in the talking stage, I'm like, hey, like, I have some pretty close female friends, just to make sure, like, if you're okay with that. um
Yep.
you know
That's the
you know
way to do it.
here they are, you know look at them,
Mm.
cool, you know who they are. If I say I'm hanging out with them, that's who I'm hanging out with, but I'm not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize our relationship.
The
See,
um
only
man,
time I think it becomes a what you gotta say,
I was
Tim?
gonna say this is why people are sleeping on Miles, man. This is he's talking perfect boyfriend shit.
This brother Miles, man.
I'm not saying.
Listen, miles ahead, miles ahead.
I'm telling you,
He's miles
i've
ahead of a lot of this stuff, man.
It's a
i've
good movie.
been
Excellent movie. If you haven't seen it,
Miles ahead.
i've
please
been
go watch it.
a relationship counselor for so many of my friends
Yeah,
for so
especially
long.
the
At this
two of
point, the
us.
brother needs to counsel his own relationship. We need to get this brother to counsel his
Please.
own relationship. So again, call the number 443-343-2382 if you want to submit a phone application.
Whose
A
number was
phone
that?
application. That was my business number. Call
Oh,
that number if you want to submit a phone
so like,
application. I
that
will
certainly
forward
was
it to
not mine.
Miles. Yeah, do you want people calling your personal,
Good
brother?
point, good point,
You
good
need
point.
something you can screen.
Don't
So
FaceTime
I
him
will
and show him a
screen.
yogurt fridge.
Exactly. You can't FaceTime the number I just gave you. Okay. Again, that is 443-343-2382. You can call that number if you want to submit a phone screen. If you want to submit something on the internet, DM the Turndown Pod for the PG version. If you want to go a step further, DM Miles L. Malone on Instagram for the PG-13 and up version. But I definitely I definitely think that I think it becomes a little bit of a thing. It's definitely okay to have female friends. It's definitely okay to be able to see them. Now, if you're hanging out with your female friends more than you are your girlfriend,
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
that's a
issue.
that
I,
honest.
that is
Yeah,
an
that's an issue.
issue. And I feel like that is when you have some people that definitely try to, and I mean, honestly, depending on how long your relationship, and this is just in my head, if you're hanging out with your friends more than you are your girlfriend, I'm kind of like,
Even that's like
like your
yeah,
girlfriend is that person. Like people need to accept your girlfriend or your boyfriend
your
is that
partner.
person.
Your partner
Your
is that
partner,
person.
especially if you're closer towards marriage. The closer you get towards
Yeah.
marriage, the more it intensifies. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is the person that you're trying to possibly marry for the rest of your life, right? That's the goal. So you're telling me that you're going to spend more time. And I love you guys. I love you guys to death. But there's no way I could spend 5 days with y'all, 1 day with a man. That would be crazy.
yeah,
No,
Like that
I
would be
wouldn't want
because
you to do
you know what
that.
I'm saying?
yeah.
Right.
So
Like that wouldn't be right.
there's also like at least with my relationship, like I spend time with Melissa. We only usually get 1 day a week actually, to see each other in
Hmm.
person, but we text all the time. So that's the thing is that, like
Yeah.
I mean I see you guys a lot. Miles, I see you a lot because of school.
School.
And then we hang out on Fridays and then do the episode on Sundays,
Sundays. Yeah.
and then it comes out on Mondays, of course. But like Melissa and I, we text all the time, and like we're always like calling each other and voice messages and stuff like that. But we only get 1 day a week, really.
Right. Right.
But that's also because we're both busy. I think there's also another thing about communication too, in that you have to understand that like this is kind of the inverse of that. But if you're
Hmm.
busy, like life happens, and it's a really
Yeah.
mature sign, I think, to say like, all right, we're definitely both busy. Let's find some time for each other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and let's do this. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing. As every relationship is compromise. Um, like whenever I get in a relationship, hopefully sooner rather than later. But like, I think that's just one of those things that you have to compromise. You have to compromise. Um,
Yeah.
Now, how much you compromise, well, that depends on you know the two people. How you feel about that person. There are some people
Yeah.
that like, yeah, okay, I compromise a lot for them. There are some people I'm like,
Yep.
I'm only going so far before it's like whatever. And that's
yeah,
another
And
thing. I think,
personally, I don't think you should be with that
yeah.
person. That's the
yeah,
Well, and
thing. You
that's the
should
thing.
not be with a person that
And
you
then
don't want to
you don't
compromise
yeah.
for.
compromise for.
There's and
Like you don't care
Correct.
about them enough.
for
You
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
don't.
There's also some people are just more giving than others.
Yeah.
And
Naturally, yeah.
like it, in if you're in a relationship with a person who's really giving, and then same thing if you're really giving.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's really important. The most important thing I think in that instance is not to take advantage of that, and to always
Yeah.
show them support and to give them back as much as
That
you can.
support. Yeah.
Because that's definitely how I am. Um,
Yeah.
and Melissa's that way too. So um,
Yeah.
it's hard
And I think
sometimes because you're like, oh my god, like you're doing all you're doing all this, but it's like I can't. I'm so busy, I can't keep up. So you just have to show support. I
yeah.
think that's the most important thing.
And I think also the big thing about relationships, and I guess being, what I mentioned about like making sure that you're with somebody that you want to compromise for. It's
Hmm.
like
Mhm.
a lot of the relation and I don't know, I don't want to make a generalization of relationships that I've seen, but I think you have a lot of fake relationships out here. Like a lot, and I'm not speaking like my relationship is perfect. It's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I'm saying.
Well, I
But
think that's good that you're not saying that it's
Yeah.
Miles, why'd
fake.
you look like that?
I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like
I,
it's not perfect, what I'm saying. But honestly, when I say like if I can honestly say the love that we have for each other is
yeah.
no doubt.
Mm.
That's perfect. That's perfection to me. There's no way in hell. Like we're together, we go to bat for each other. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of relationships out there where it's just an Instagram thing. It's
Hmm.
just a it's just to go out on dates thing. It's just the he bought me flowers, he bought me roses thing. And it's like you don't give a fuck about them. You give a damn about what they do for you.
What it
Like
looks
Tim
like.
said, like taking advantage.
Yeah.
Like you don't really care about, you don't want to compromise for them. What are you sacrificing? How often do you guys see each other during the week? You know, what are you doing for that person? What is he doing for you? What are you doing for him? You know, oh no, he just takes you out to dinner 5 times a week and buys you Chick-fil-A in the mornings, and like he takes you to fancy places and takes
Yeah.
pictures of you on the edge of the earth, and all this type of
But does
BS. It's like,
but does he send you an "I love you" message in the middle of the day when nothing's going on?
Well, I think
or matter of
that's
fact, when you're, when I'm saying like when you have a stomach bug, is he there to give you, what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there
soup.
during that time to give you some soup, sitting with you when you're sick, like doing all of that stuff. Your car breaks down. Is he picking you up? Or, or is it just, oh, okay, I'll take you to Chick-fil-A tomorrow, honey.
I think.
What?
Well,
Okay,
I
this
think.
thunder is
Whoa.
Really?
tripping.
Wow, that's crazy. I haven't
That
heard
might
any
be a
thunder.
sign right there to fake relationships.
Ooh.
Fake relationships. The
Um.
power is about to go out on the fake relationships.
I think a big part of that. There's a thunder now.
This
Mine will be soon.
rain.
Yeah. So I think part of that is that a lot of people, um, they don't. The foundation of the relationship is weak. It's just,
Whew. Say that
oh,
again. Say that again.
on my Dr. Umar. I think a lot of people, the foundation of the relationship is weak. Eh,
Gifts.
donations. It's
Donations.
based on gifts and donations.
And
Mm.
now
Mm.
that can
That
be
was slick.
I will say that can be a love language, right?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not invalidating that.
But
Hmm.
if
If
it's
that's all
only
it
that.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
But
if it's
anyways,
only that.
the
If it's
point that I
only
was
that.
making was that a lot of people, and I think I think there's no problem necessarily with this when you're younger and you're not looking for anything that's long term.
Mm.
That's another thing we have to make the difference. Like there are people that just date because they're like, you know what?
Date for fun.
Some people are just in a situation where it's just like, dang, like maybe right now what I need to do is just figure myself out. That's fine.
Yeah,
And then
that's fine.
you date with the intention of saying, well, this isn't going to last forever, and you know that, and you say, but
But
I'm here
they
to
don't
figure.
let that known.
Yeah, they don't.
That's the problem.
That's the thing.
You're
Yeah.
not, people like that are very toxic 95% of the time, because they're like, yeah, I'm just having fun. Yeah, I'm just out here, being me, buy me gifts. Go ahead, take me out to dinner, daddy.
Mhm.
Take me out to dinner, whatever. Say, I've heard it. I'm sorry. That's why I repeated it.
I
I've
know.
seen it on Twitter. It's not something I think. Okay, I saw it on Twitter.
I know.
Literally.
I know it's
Yeah,
not something you think.
Let me explain, bro. That's not what I say, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not what I say. But what I'm saying, take me out to dinner. We're gonna have to talk at Roof Chris if you want me. All this BS. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, that's cute and all, right? But are you letting that guy know that there's no chance that you're actually gonna be serious with him?
Yeah.
No. So he's taking you out to Roof Chris thinking that he's actually getting to know you. He's gonna show up and pull up and maybe rent a fancy car for you guys to go to who knows where, because he thinks he actually has a chance to get to know
Or
you.
maybe he already
And
has
then
a
you
fancy
just
car
turn.
like Miles Malone.
If you want a Volkswagen CC, ladies,
Hey,
he's got it.
that thing
Got it
rides
back.
nice. That thing rides nice. Let me tell you,
All white,
black leather
pulling up in the
interior.
Batmobile.
Well,
What
Six.
I don't know, not the Batmobile.
You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that's so like.
Batmobile would be black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Miles is black.
that is
So
factual.
Makes up for it, I guess.
it makes up.
I don't know.
Black on the inside, not the outside.
What?
The car. The black is
car.
on the inside of the car. What the?
Well, that's why I was like, what is?
Oh no.
Anyway, what were you saying?
But yeah, I think that's an important thing if you are just dating around to date around, that's like something that's expressed, so that that the other person in that situation can make the decision to say, all right, cool, like either A, I'm not going to get involved in this, or okay, B, I'm not going to get caught up. Like cool, like okay, like that's what it is. Sick. Like I'll have somebody else, speed dial in time, so so that they can do what they need to do. Then I have no problem with that. I think that the issue is the communication. Again, it all comes back to communication.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, when you are in a serious relationship, um, just talking about your expectations. 'Cause I think everybody's different. Everybody has different needs, different wants.
Of
Um,
course.
and sometimes those needs and wants might be a little bit out of your partner's comfort zone, and that's not necessarily that's the thing. That's not
Yeah.
necessarily an issue. But then that comes back to the compromise thing. You
Mm.
have to be willing to say, okay, well, this is what I'm willing to do. Um,
Yeah.
I think the right person in a long term situation will be willing to say, all right, like cool, not with I'm not with that, or I am with this, you know.
Hmm.
And then you
And sometimes
also,
compromise can be abused. Some people can
and that's
abuse
the thing.
compromise
Well,
too.
some
Like,
some people,
hey,
that's what we were talking about. Like
I'm
people,
gonna spend the night at this girl's house.
yeah,
Let's compromise the trust,
no,
right? Like, can
no,
you trust me? Like,
no,
no, bruh. No, bruh.
no.
That's
So
no
so
one. That's not
so, and then
compromised.
again, so that's what I'm saying. That's what we were talking about with people that are giving. Like you have to
Yeah.
make sure that, especially if you're a giving person, that you don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of in a situation.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm,
because there are people who will take advantage of it, of your
of course.
kindness, of your generosity, your willingness to compromise. Um,
And unfortunately, that means a lot of the best people, at least in relationships, get cheated on
yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, and
Yeah.
because
that's
they're taken
that's
advantage of. That's
yeah,
what it is.
and that's one of those things that you just. I mean, I know I always try to watch out for it because I know for me, like it's very easy for me to just like give. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just in any situation really. Like I think I always try to make myself available for people. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I mean, I don't
That's
think
not
that's
necessarily
yeah,
a
it's
bad
not a
thing,
bad thing.
Mm-mm.
I think that's
but it
actually
can
a
become a
good thing,
bad thing.
but it can become a bad thing if
It
I'm not
can
paying
become a
attention,
bad
Or
thing.
a hurtful thing for you.
or
A
a hurtful
hurtful
thing
thing.
where it's like, all right, I'm giving and giving, and I'm not, you
What are
know,
you receiving?
I don't even think to say that like, I don't give with the expectation of getting something in return, right? But
Yeah, but if you give and never receive, yeah, that thunder's kicking ass, bro.
yeah, but
Like,
like, but it's
yeah,
it's, it's exactly like if
yeah,
it becomes a problem when like even though I'm not expecting to get anything from it, if I'm also not getting anything from it, then
yeah,
it becomes very one sided and it's not fair to me. So I think
yeah.
part of that for me is always like, I want someone who's kind of also giving, so that we
Right,
can kind of pour into each other, so to speak. Um,
right.
and yeah, I think I think the issue for me is that super I'm super aware of like what I'm like, yeah, like this is what I want out of a situation. And I think the problem
Right.
at our age is a lot of the times, a lot of people are like that
They
idea.
don't know.
It's just like
Yeah.
they don't know. And that's
Um.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the problems. It's always been like, that's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
I was thinking about this actually. It, that all three of us have always been guys that have thought about the future
yeah,
all the
Way
time,
ahead. Way
all the
ahead.
time, and this is since eighth grade, since
Eighth or ninth.
elementary
Yeah.
school. Since I've met
We
Kendrick,
talked
since I've
about
met him now.
college in eighth
yeah,
grade.
Yeah,
Like we
man.
talked about
Talked about
college
careers, all that. And it's
careers
not
in
it's not
eighth
like that
grade.
kind of thing
Man.
where it's like you're just a kid and you're like, oh, I think maybe I want to do this. I was like, no, I was like, all right,
No.
I want to be an
yeah,
architect. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to draw and I'm going to do all this. And then I was like, I want to be a doctor. I need to get really good at math. And then I was like, eighth grade, I was like, okay, I can't do any of that shit. I'm going to be a band teacher because that's really what I want to do.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I
I
stuck
think
to that.
yeah,
But
and I think
but
that's
we've
what.
always
Oh yeah.
talked about that. And I think we've also always been long haul guys.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it
So if I'm
what you
not
were
with somebody like that, that's what makes it difficult.
yeah. And
Because I'm not a
Yeah,
short term guy. Like I don't think I think
yeah.
short term when I need to, but I'm not
mm,
like, oh, so are you excited? Like one thing about when Amanda and I first started dating, we used to do like every month. We talk about like, hey, happy anniversary every month. We do that, and we did it for like the first 6 months, and then after a while, I was just like, like okay, like it's a month, like
Yeah.
yeah.
let's wait it out. Let's do yearly.
We
So
shouldn't be
now we're coming up
celebrating
on
every month that we survive. You shouldn't be. It's
Yeah.
like,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like or every month that we survived together, right? Because we
yeah,
could have broken up,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, like that became, and then just we said, okay, let's just do yearly, and then now boom, we're coming up on year 3, and it's like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I think when you focus on the long term personally, and I think all of us will agree, I think when you focus on the long term, I just feel like you're in a better situation. In a
Well,
relationship, in a
yeah,
friendship, you're not always so caught up
That
on
also
like,
what's happening
yeah,
next.
it kind of makes some relationships, at least talking stages, things like that. At least for me, it's made them way shorter though, because it's been like, oh
Mm,
man, I don't connect with this person, and I know I don't connect with this person,
hmm
and
right.
it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I always feel bad when I'm like, it's not working, you know.
Yeah.
and I
But
don't even
I've
think
had to
like,
say that a good amount because it was like
yeah,
I don't see anything in this, and I've still
Yeah.
learned from those things, you know, from those.
Situations, right.
It's short. Every this was something that was said by Eliza, is that every there's always value in
oh yeah,
relationships,
value in
always
everything,
Yes.
value in
no
short
matter how
relationships.
short or how long it is,
Yeah.
because you learn something
Yes.
new. And I think like I mean that's one of and I guess now that I think about it a lot more too.
Yeah.
Um, when I was talking earlier about like, oh yeah, talking stages, not even talking stages for me last long. It's just that moment of time, even before I say anything, where I'm like trying to figure somebody
Mm,
out. That's part of the reason because I think super long term.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Um, and like I think for me, especially right now at the age that I'm at, some people are like, oh, like we're 21, like it's we're young, whatever.
Yeah.
But I
Super
also
young, man.
I do agree with that, but I also think, and I talked a little bit about this, I think in the first episode. I lost my brother back in December. He would have turned 29 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks if you're when you guys are watching this, 3 weeks exactly. Actually,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I think, what if I only have 8 more years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm kind of in that mode where I'm like, maybe I don't have time. It's a weird balance where it's like, yeah, I'm 21, so I am young, right? I do have time, but like, what if I don't? You know what I
Time ain't
mean?
guaranteed. It's never
And nothing's
guaranteed.
Mm-mm.
guaranteed. So
No.
I would at the very least, for me or for any other person in that situation, any other person, it's just
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I'm like, I would that is something that I would like to experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that kind of you know what I mean? Just and I love like hearing you guys talk about your relationships. That makes me very happy for you guys. Especially knowing where you guys have come from. Kendrick, you especially. Um,
Mm.
being in the because I remember early on there were some times, and I'm glad
It's because I didn't know
yeah,
how to love, man.
and
Like when you don't my I came up in an environment where I knew my dad was actively cheating on my mother.
Mm.
yeah,
Like I knew my father actively cheated on my mother. I was not raised with marriage. My parents were never married. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, so whenever I hear people, oh yeah, my parents are married. When I saw your parents, Miles,
yeah,
whenever I see your parents, God damn, it's one of the most special things. You don't understand it because
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
like, your parents are black and
hmm
they're married,
yeah,
for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, even 5 years. You guys are black. This lightning is oh my
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
You guys are black and married. My parents weren't married. My father was an active cheater. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in a position where I saw my dad doing all types of things. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Sorry,
It's
I was
crazy.
I just wanted to guess it because I saw where
hmm
Miles, because Miles and I, like live pretty close, so I wanted to
Yeah.
see if I guess
hmm
it worked. I pointed and thunder happened.
No, man. It was just I don't know. So when Amanda and I first got together, it was hard because I mean she loves me so much, and I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to interpret. I was like, man,
hmm
why you trying to check up on me? Why you trying
yeah,
to ask me where I'm at? Why you trying to tell me? Why you trying to tell me to text you when I get somewhere? Why are you doing that? Back off. Only my mom does that. You know what I'm saying? Like that was how I thought about it. But it was generally, no, dude. Yeah, your mom does it, but she's gonna be the one that does it now. It's not always gonna be your mom, right? Like you're gonna have a person. She's the person that's doing that. So she's stepping into it and she cares about me that much. So it
Yeah.
was hard as hell, man. It was hard as hell. So to grow up without a lot, my mother loved me to death, but to
hmm
grow up without seeing that love and
yeah,
without really feeling a lot of it, with your parents in the household,
yeah.
I think coming in this situation was brand new, man. But
So I mean, that's why I look at you
yeah,
now, and I mean, like, I'm very happy for how far you've come. Um, I'm happy to have had any part
A
of
huge part,
yeah, but
huge,
like
huge, huge.
but like any part in helping you get to that point of like, wow, like now I know how to do it, and I think that's really great. I mean, even in the past, not definitely not with this relationship. I think Tim, but stuff in the past. There's been times that I've definitely talked you through some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, but so now you're at the point where it's like, all right, cool. Like
Yeah. Now
I
I'm
can,
yeah. It's like maturity,
yeah,
and found a person that
yeah,
was at the same point as me, where
yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh, like because of I think we've all always been mature
yeah,
for our
Mm,
ages, but it's like now it's like, I mean, definitely in the relationship department I wasn't, because it was
yeah,
idealized,
yeah,
because
mm.
I'm a person who's always looked for the future.
In the
I've
future,
I've
right?
always idealized stuff, and it took me a while to go through all that crap, and
Right.
probably took me a little longer than I should have to
Yeah.
realize, oh, you know what, okay, this is what I have to do now, this is how I should act for me, you know
Yeah.
and this is what I have to worry about or not worry about, more so, you know and
Yeah.
and it's really great. And
yeah,
and yeah, Miles, I mean, and hey man, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
Absolutely will.
The thing with Miles that's happened, and I feel like he's definitely Miles is very big on I think getting a relationship in part because I think, and this is just me making an assumption, I think because of your parents,
Yeah.
mm,
not like them pressuring you, but you see and be around that love. I feel like you might not realize it, but I think it plays a part in your subconscious. Like, man, I got to get going.
yeah,
Like
That's
I
definitely
need
how I
this
was
because
too.
my parents are so happy. I'm seeing this. My dad, you got the perfect environment. You had the parents that raised you to love. They raised you to be aware of other people's feelings, and
yeah,
you're the most emotionally intelligent of any of us in this podcast by
Oh,
far,
definitely.
by far.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing that y'all got to realize about Miles, and personally, that's why I'm so proud of you. After a relationship, you've come so far, when it comes to just your base plan, when it comes to you socially, I think in environments, with other
Oh,
people, the
absolutely.
people you choose to be around, how that's changed over time. Back then you staying around with some dumb motherfuckers. You staying out with some pieces of shit.
yeah,
Some pieces of shit.
It-
You know what I'm saying? Like women and men, pieces of shit. And who you've now surrounded yourself with. I how much you've helped people. I think the relationship is a nice, cute little part of it. But the real question that we all got to ask ourselves is how much are you growing after a
yeah,
relationship? Because that's a mutual growth. Manny and I grew
yeah.
together. We're
yeah.
growing together.
I think
Tim and
that's
his
an
girlfriend are
important part
going
of
together.
any
Yeah.
relationship
How
is like
much are
growing
you
with the
growing?
person. Yeah,
So
Yes.
I think that's another thing too, is that a lot of people want a relationship, to not be lonely, all that stuff, which
Oh, that's
perfectly fair.
I understand it. I
Yeah.
understand it.
Now the problem comes when it comes from dependency.
hmm
I need this relationship because I'm emotionally unstable. I need a person to make me stable
Ooh.
again.
well, then that's not fair to
Oh.
people. Yeah,
That's not
I
fair
think
to
that's
people, not fair to
Yeah.
yourself, none of
on
that.
yourself because that's
Relationships,
stuff that you
Yeah.
need
yeah,
to figure out for
the
yourself.
time you're ready for a relationship, and the only time that relationships work is if it's two independent people coming
That
together.
come
That's
together.
what people don't realize, is that like
Yeah.
relationships only work if the two people are independent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you learn how to work together through
Yeah,
that. And it
it's
makes
And
like
it
honestly, I
so
think
much
it's
easier.
yeah. And I
I
think
think kids
honestly, you
get it
may learn to need each other. I think over time, I think when you're with somebody long enough, you need
in a
you.
Well, you
I
way.
want to
think you
be
need
with
them.
each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
I
in a
think
way.
it's
I don't think it should be like, oh, I need you or I can't function because then it
Not
becomes a
that. Not
codependency
that.
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like when I'm not with a man, I don't feel. I'm not 100% happy. I'm happy. I'm very very happy. But I'm
Mm.
not like I'm not as happy as I could be.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
okay.
better way to
Yeah,
put it. Like
It's a part of your daily
if
life.
I'm thinking
It's like
exactly.
yeah,
playing it's
If
like
if
playing
I'm with a
music.
man, I'm like, yo,
yeah,
right. If I'm not listening to me exactly. If I'm not listening to music for like a couple days, I'm not as happy as I could
that's
be.
I think
I'm
that's
like,
part of how
yo,
you
I
know
haven't
you.
listened to
Yeah,
music.
I think that's part of how you know you do love somebody though is that while maybe you won't like be completely broken down and mess, like you should still be able to function without that person
Of
Yeah.
course. Of course. I
and
can hustle, but it's just
be happy in your own life. I think my mom was telling me a really important thing. Was talking about being part of knowing yourself, just knowing like what do you like to do, like
mm,
by yourself, like what's the stuff like when you're alone, like what do you just like to do, and knowing
yeah.
that because even when you're in my parents have been married, they're going to be married for 23 years come August.
Man.
Like
Shit.
they do not like all of the same things, like
Right.
absolutely not. Um, So while they've been together for 20 years, they've also found joy in themselves. Being
Yeah.
able to like I like watching anime. You know,
Mhm.
cool. I can do that by
Maybe
myself.
you don't have to like watching anime,
You don't have to
whoever you're
like it.
with. You don't have to like it.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could too. Like that'd be pretty awesome as well. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's not a requirement for me. Like it's something
Yeah.
that cool. I can enjoy that on my alone time. Um,
Yeah.
but part of knowing that you love somebody is being able to say like, what's it? It's like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mhm.
That kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like you'll still be like, man, it was nice to have my alone time, but can't wait to get back to my partner. Like
Yep.
I think that's a beautiful thing. That's how you're like, okay, cool. Like I can spend this time by myself, but after a
Yeah.
certain point, I still want to be with the person that I've chosen to share these kind of things with. I
Yeah.
think a good relationship is two people who love themselves and they decide to share that with each other. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think that
Yeah.
I mean part of it is knowing yourself and being able to truly say like, you know what, I'm not perfect, but I love myself.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know,
I may
And
look like
yeah,
a burnt chicken nugget, but I still love myself.
I still love myself.
I love that vine.
even if you're
Yeah,
you know
that's
and
the thing.
that's not to
The kid
say
had it
like
right,
yeah
man.
that's not like the day-to-day things like oh I don't look good today or whatever, like that happens, that's normal
Sure.
Of
self-image
course,
stuff.
everybody has that.
But if at the end at a base level you have to be able to say like, you know what, I love myself.
Mhm.
Like even if I'm not feeling too hot about the way that I look,
I love
I don't like the
myself.
way this webcam makes me look because it's
Right.
not the same. But
Right.
you know what, I can look in the mirror, I can take a picture and be like, you know what, yeah, like man,
Yeah.
Camila and Antone really went off when they did that. You know what I'm saying? I can look at my hair and be like, yeah, this was the best decision you ever made.
Oh
Because
yeah. Oh
it is
yeah.
not
Oh
shaped
yeah.
for one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep them clippers away from my house, though. Keep them
Yes,
clippers
keep them
away.
away. Samson, no Delilahs, please.
Yeah,
Um,
this
I'm with
webcam
you.
makes my mustache real faint.
but
It's not
like,
this faint.
I'm still able to say like, like, yeah, I love myself. I'm happy with who I am as a
Yeah.
person overall. You know, like
Yeah.
I think I'm a decent human being. I try my best to be the best human being that I can. Everybody
Oh
slips
yeah.
up now and again, but I know that I always try my best. Um,
Right.
you know, I'm happy with the decisions that I've made overall. Sometimes you have your regrets, but sometimes, you wouldn't be where you are without your mistakes.
Yeah. Never.
Of
Um,
Never.
course, yeah.
so yeah, I think I'm in
That's the
that,
thing. You got to fail
yeah,
forward, man. You got to
yeah,
fail forward in life. Like
Mm.
it's not, you're not going to sit there and go
yeah.
perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to fail forward.
You
Like you
could
have
live
to
a
keep
thousand years,
going.
attain
Yeah.
perfection. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is. But that's the thing. I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I like myself, and I up until a relatively recent point, it wasn't like that for me.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
now I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I love myself, and I'm ready to share that with somebody. Um,
Yeah.
so if you'd like to be that somebody,
Ah!
dial the
Submit
number.
your applications.
Submit the application.
What
Don't
was the
cost
number again,
nothing
Kendrick?
but your time, and it will be worth
It will be
Oh
worth
yeah.
it. Trust me. I'll make it worth your time.
it.
Oh yeah.
You can DM at Turndown Pod, at the Turndown Pod, or is it just Turndown
It's just
Pod?
turned down pod.
It's
That's
turned
what I
down
thought.
pod.
Let's just
Turn
Turndown
down
Pod.
pod.
Yeah, see how much I know about our podcast. Um, or if you want to come to me directly at Miles L Malone, all one word, all on
Yeah.
lowercase. Hey, if I already know you and you're just like, you know what, I always kind of was interested in Miles, y- hit me up. You know where
Shoot
I'm
that
at.
shot.
Shoot the shot. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised
Oh yeah.
because
Oh
we're
yeah. We shooting jumpers over here. We shooting jumpers over here. But no,
some
that's what
people.
I hate about my bad. That's what I hate about school that you were talking about. You were talking about like loving yourself and allowing yourself
Mhm.
to make mistakes. I hate that about school. You know, they
Mm,
create this structure where it's like you fail and it's bad. You fail, oh my God, you're gonna repeat a grade. You fail, how are you gonna make it up?
yeah.
Like, no, dude, that's not how our education system should be based. Like, kids need to fail. You're having these kids go out into a situation where they've gotten all A's from pre-K to master's degree, right? Like they've gotten all A's. You're gonna fail in life. You're not
Yeah.
gonna ace everything. So once you get into a situation where you hit a wall, or you get into a situation where you just literally stumble in a relationship, maybe you cheat, right? Like that's a real thing. Temptation. People don't realize how strong that is. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'll never cheat. I'll never do that." You put yourself in that situation. Very few guys are gonna stay are gonna hold up to their word, and women are gonna hold up to that word when you're in that situation, and that's fine. But understand that you just failed. You just failed a test, or you just failed a situation you were in, and you got to move forward. You got to find a way to fix yourself. Reevaluate what you did. Maybe you didn't care about the person enough. Maybe you don't care about yourself enough. Like there's a lot that goes into making decisions like that. That in school could be considered the end all be all. Like, yeah, nah, you just failed, dog. Like that's it. Nah, man. Like you can rehabilitate yourself. You can find out what you did wrong, and you can bounce back from it. You can learn to love somebody. I think a lot of people had to do it. I had to do it. I'm still learning. I'm not no expert,
Yeah.
but I think it's important that we all understand that like failure is good. Right. It's good because without failure, you're not gonna build the calluses that you need to go out into the real world and go out into a real relationship. You're not gonna have them.
And
You're
it's
not.
not just being tougher; it's learning more about yourself too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
a big
man.
part of it, just knowing yourself enough to be like, hey, this is what I like, or this is what I will not like, knowing what your limits are too. Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
saying like,
Learn that.
yeah, and saying
Yeah.
like,
Oh
I
yes.
really can't do this. And
Yeah.
sometimes that does take trial and error. And that's the thing; it's different for everybody. There are some people like there's I'm not going to say their names, but there's a couple from that went to high school with us that have been dating since like eighth grade. Um,
Yes. 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 I
and
know
they're still
exactly what you're
dating
talking about.
now, and they like
Oh
live
yeah,
together now and everything. Sometimes you get it right
Yeah.
the first time.
yeah.
The very first time.
They're awesome. We
Very
love them.
first.
Rarely,
Oh yeah, we
but
love that couple. I know
in
exactly
in
what you're
in
talking
their
about too.
case, damn,
That's amazing.
like
Yeah. You
good
just
for
knew it in
them.
high school.
Yeah,
You knew it in high school. You were like, these
Yeah.
people just love each other, man. Like
They were
nothing's
also
going
they
to
were
get in the
both
way of
always
that.
so mature though.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Since eighth grade.
some people get it right the first try. Sometimes it takes multiple tries. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so it's
And
just
some
one of
people
those.
never get it right. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like some people never find their person. But you
I
know
think
what? You're your own
yeah,
person.
yeah. Okay. I
Sometimes you
think
don't need the other person.
I'm gonna put a note on that though. If you never find the right person, but you're not learning anything about yourself and you're doing the same stuff, bad stuff over and
That
over
might be why
Yeah,
again,
you're not
that's a
finding the right
problem. That's a
person.
that's
problem.
wrong.
Yeah.
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 Cut it out.
Yeah. Which we know a lot of people that do that.
Yep.
Repetitively. Some pretty bad things, but we're not going to go into that. But
Yikes.
yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that one. I mean, there's somebody out there for you. I think it's going to be everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a
Yeah.
different road that they go down, the yellow brick road of sorts. Everybody has to go down. But at the end of the
And
day,
maybe
I
that
mean,
person for you is me. Who knows? Please.
and on that note, ladies,
Did you
we're going to
guys?
end the episode with reminding you guys to submit your applications, submit your DMs, submit everything that you need to let Miles know that you're interested. Because I tell you what, there's a 99.9% chance that brother might just be interested back.
Well,
Did
we'll talk about it, but
We'll talk
all right.
about it.
Did you should we open next episode with I have one, and it's not it might not be what you think it is, but I have one ugly story that I didn't get to tell because you
Mm.
guys told yours and I got one too.
I
And
think should we make the relationship one a two-part?
I
Should this
think we
be a
should.
two-part?
two-parter.
Because I think there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, we
Yeah.
only
There's so
covered the
much more.
bad.
Yeah.
This
We
could also
covered like
be
the
this could also be friendship too. If we
a
talk about
friendship
that.
thing, just
Yeah.
in general relationships, not just
Yeah.
a relationship, but all types of relationships.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this might have to be two-part because this is
All right.
we have some stuff we still
Yeah.
haven't
This is
touched.
also
I
kind of
think
the
we
kind
got
of
some
stuff. This is
stories.
the stuff that we talk about all the time. So
Anyways, yeah.
it
Yeah,
can
let's get it on the
easily be.
record.
Yeah. Because I
Let's
want to
get
talk
it on the
about other
record.
stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. So yeah, next episode we're gonna come back at you with the relationships in general, part two. Not the good, the bad, and the ugly, but what's healthy, what's not healthy. I don't know. We'll go over names. We'll go over names in the DMs. I'll be coming up with some pretty decent names. So give me some credit, bro. I've
I
got
agree. I agree.
some slick names, but we're gonna talk about that later. Anyway, thank you guys again for tuning into episode 7.
Thank you guys.
7
Next
of the
time
Turndown.
will be 2 months. So
2 months, man.
Yeah.
2 months. It's been a
Jeez.
hell of a ride, bro.
no.
It's been a hell of a ride, man. And remember, submit those
Yeah.
goddamn applications,
Hot boy
people.
summer for Miles. Let's
Hot
find
Boy
Miles
Summer
a
for
forever
Miles.
lover.
Maybe not. Maybe you'll catch my eye and we'll start a lifelong relationship together. Who knows?
I'm royally pissed.
Royally. Shout out to Prince Philip.
No, we
No,
will
no
not
shout out to
no.
Prince Philip.
I meant that in a bad way.
Uh,
Like
yeah,
shout
okay.
out.
Shout.
Shout out.
He,
No, you're pointing down.
shout
dog.
out. Anyway, again, thank
Rest
you.
in pieces.
Rest in peace. Oh, rest in peace,
Rest in peace,
DMX.
DMX.
God
Rest in peace,
damn.
DMX.
Fountain.
We
Yeah,
lost DMX.
that's an
man.
actual
Rest in
shout out.
peace to Earl
Yeah.
Simmons. Yeah, shout out to the dog that we lost, man. That's sad as hell. Well,
Check up on your friends, man.
check
Yeah.
up on your friends. Make sure your friends are good. Make sure your peoples are safe. Don't go out to party because COVID is not over. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.
Love y'all. See ya.
Respect to the
Yeah,
Turndown
see you guys.
family. Love you guys, man. Peace.